What's up, Johnson family? My name is Cedric, and today I just wanted to make a quick video just kind of giving my opinion on what's been happening recently with the Vixen on Drag Race. I don't even know if this will get views or not. An episode of RuPaul's Drag Race has not made me this riled up since Fifi was on Drag Race. And so I feel like these are just rare moments where I want to get out my thoughts, and it doesn't happen often where I'll watch RuPaul's Drag Race and then I'll go to Twitter immediately to see what people are saying because I want to know what people's opinions are about what's happening. And I swear I just saw so much I saw one end where it was black people saying this was a race situation, and the Vixen is validated in her feelings and we need to stop being so racist and everything. And then I saw the other side of non-black or white people saying, this is not about race. The Vixen is the worst person on earth. She is just a garbage person. I don't agree with either one of those, and I saw a lot of black people dismissing white people's opinions because they're white, and I don't think that that's fair either. And so I wanted to just come on here because I'm black. I wanted to come on and just give a quick opinion about how I feel about the way that she has been handling this show and the situations that arise in the show. So when the Vixen first got here, I'm gonna be honest, I was really excited. The conversations that she was starting made me very, very happy because it's something that I have seen not just with Drag Race but with other reality shows too, where it's black people, specifically black women, once they go to defend themselves against someone usually white, they are automatically assumed to be the villain. You know what I'm saying? Unless they're funny, Tiffany Pollard is she was seen as the villain a lot of the time, but she was funny, so it was it's okay for her to be that way because she's hilarious and she's entertaining. But when it's not entertaining, then that person is automatically assumed to be just disrespectful and rude, and they just need to cut it out and go away somewhere. And so I'm just really, really glad that the Vixen brought up this conversation. I didn't necessarily agree with the way it was delivered. I don't think that this should have all come down on Aquaria, because I feel like Aquaria, that wasn't necessarily her intent, but I am glad the moment was used to start a conversation, if that makes sense, which is a conversation that has not been brought up in Drag Race at all until now. And so I was really, really excited that someone so outspoken and someone that was so not afraid to be themselves and not afraid to say exactly what is on their mind, that really, really made me happy to have her on Drag Race. But it's gotten to the point where I'm just okay, I don't want to be disrespectful because I do think the Vixen is very talented. I just feel like her delivery and the way that she handles situations it's unprofessional, which is funny because she used that word against Eureka. At the beginning of the episode, Eureka said something to her girl, I respect you, you're talented, I think you're amazing, I'm so, she said something I'm so, I respect the fact that you acknowledge the people that look up to you and you want to do well by them or want to do right by them. And I thought that was kind of cool, but then at the end, she said something so you don't have to be so aggressive all the time, which is something that not every queen, but multiple queens have said throughout this season, is that the Vixen is just unnecessarily aggressive and she just always has to come at you like that. And it's I get where they're coming from by not wanting to be in an environment where everyone's on their toes all the time, everyone's heart is beating all the time when the Vixen's around because she's just so quick to pop off on stuff. It's hard because I understand that the Vixen wants to be her, and I don't want anybody to compromise themselves for others. She could probably be a little less, in your face, but it's the way that she is, and we all have to kind of just accept that because that's just the way that she is, and she's not gonna change because she shouldn't have to change. But Eureka, she said all that, and then at the end she said, you don't have to be as aggressive, and it just seemed like the Vixen, literally everything Eureka said that was positive went in one ear and out the other, and then she waited until Eureka said something that offended her or that she wanted to be offended by, and then say, well, no, that's people like me because I'm blah, blah, blah. And it's just okay, cool. I don't feel like she really listened, which is I feel like that's the negative mindset. And if you really want to grow and you really want to experience all this life has to offer, then you have to be open to listening to the people who are looking at you, because you can't always see what you're projecting. I'm guilty of this myself. I can't always see how I'm coming off to people, and I take advantage of the fact that there are people around me that are watching me that can say, okay, Cedric, you're doing too much. Okay, Cedric, you could have said this here. It's all part of the growing process to listen and take criticism. This is not the Vixen, today. This is obviously when they filmed this, so she could have obviously grown since then. We don't know how she is today. But I just feel like she has trouble taking criticism. She has been going after Eureka consistently, and I don't personally think Eureka is annoying. I feel like Eureka is just being herself. And when I was looking through the comments on Twitter, I saw a lot of people saying things like, well, Eureka is racist because she said the N-word 7 years ago and blah, blah. And I didn't necessarily understand that argument. I'm not saying, I don't want to excuse her actions. She shouldn't have said it. I don't want to excuse those actions, but we aren't talking about that. We aren't talking about the Vixen's past. We aren't talking about Monet's past and using that to judge them by how they're acting in the show, because that, to me, that just doesn't correlate. She's not going after the Vixen, Monet, Monique. She's not going after these people because they are black. She's not really going after anybody. She's just kind of doing her own thing and trying to be great. She's had this arc of struggling this whole time, and now she's finally able to to be confident. Like, this whole time she has been feeling like the judges never like her, that she can't ever do anything good on stage. People are always asking her, why is she not showing who she really is? And it's like, now she's winning and she's feeling confident and she's showing who she really is, and now that's a problem. Snatch Game. Literally, the Vixen's argument with Eureka was that Eureka was overpowering everybody, and that on Snatch Game, the only reason that she was good is because she was just being herself, which is just loud, extra annoying. So Eureka was the only person on that Snatch Game panel to play off of her strengths. Did Aquaria not say that she deliberately picked Melania because Melania is dry, and Aquaria feels like, since she has a dry personality, that she can make that funny, so she played to her strengths? Didn't Miss Cracker say that she picked a character that you had to really listen in, and it takes you on a journey? The jokes they're more in depth. They're not just ha right off the bat. They're you have to really listen and go on a journey with her to get the joke, which is literally what Miss Cracker, that's how Miss Cracker is, when they did the reading challenge, that's literally Miss Cracker is that's her thing. That's literally what she does. So she's playing off of her strengths. So I don't understand why they can do it and it's cool, but when Eureka does it, it's wrong. She kept saying over and over that Eureka was overpowering people and that she was stepping on people's toes and that she just constantly sucks all the energy out of the room. If that's the case, you don't have to say that. Remember in All Stars when they did the reality show and Milk was consistently jumping in and speaking over Trixie? Trixie mentioned that once or twice maybe, but the judges noticed that. The other queens noticed that, and America noticed that. We didn't need Trixie to consistently go, ugh, Milk talked over me, ugh, Milk talked over me. We all just kind of got that because we can see. And even then, I agreed with Monet. I said that Asia was kind of the one that was really doing that, because I didn't feel like her Beyonce was that great, and I did feel like her and the Vixen had this really weird, chemistry. It didn't feel like mother and daughter chemistry. It felt like two people fighting. I genuinely think the Vixen has so much potential. Why didn't you? The Vixen came out and one of the first thing she said was, I'm here to fight. She kind of set that tone for herself. But then she said that she was a political queen and she loved to bring politics into her drag. But have we seen that yet? I forgot that she was a political queen until she mentioned it again in this episode. Why aren't you remember Sasha? She literally came out and her outfits were political. They were standing for something. And the Vixen was saying that she does all this stuff during her shows, but on the show, she has not that I have seen, she hasn't once really used her drag on the runway or even in challenges to stand up for the things that she believes in. It's just when you get into Untucked or when you're in the workroom that she kind of lets you know how she feels about stuff. I also don't think that it's fair to blame someone else for you not doing well. Before you jump to someone else's fault, why don't you stop and say, okay, was there anything else that I could have done differently? She picked Blue Ivy, who literally doesn't even have a personality yet. And I don't think that that is necessarily wrong to do. There's a podcast that I listen to every week. It's called The Read with Kid Fury and Crystal. And there are certain times where they'll talk about Blue Ivy and make it funny, and they make it funny. They speak like Blue Ivy, she's above Beyonce and Jay-Z. It's the way they do it is funny. I don't necessarily believe it was the wrong choice to do Blue Ivy. I just feel like if you can't, I don't feel like she was Blue Ivy. I feel like she was trying to act like a baby, and then she sprinkled in moments of me being better than other people. And so that was Snatch Game. And then you come out on the runway, like the judges said, I thought from the neck up she was gorgeous, but from the neck down, you're this wasn't a bra. It was kind of like all over the place. Like this, it didn't look cohesive. It didn't, from the neck down, I wasn't a big fan of it. And the judges weren't either. So like, you didn't do great in the snatch game, you didn't do great in the runway, and the name of the game is if you don't do great in one or either, both, like, you're in the bottom. So when Ru asked them the question of who deserves to go home, first of all, I think it's funny that Eureka was the only person who didn't say the Vixen, but the Vixen has the most problems with Eureka. But then, like, the Vixen, she speaks to Eureka like she's below her. It's like she used how she was feeling to push Eureka down, like it's Eureka's fault that she didn't win, and I don't agree with that. She pointed out that Eureka was unprofessional. I haven't seen Eureka be unprofessional. I've seen her be herself, like everyone else on this show. She pointed out the fact that she doesn't understand why the judges even like Eureka. That's insecurity talking. That's not you saying that, you know, you feel like she should go home because she's not doing well in the competition or whatever. Like, girl has literally won the last 2 challenges and the mini challenge of this episode. Like, the judges like her, and you're mad about that. That has nothing to do with her talent and with her work ethic, with her abilities, that doesn't have anything to do with her. It has to do with you, and you feeling like they should be praising you and not praising her. You see what I'm saying? And then once she's hearing people's responses that they're about her, it makes her mad because she wanted everybody to be mad at Eureka. For what? There can be things that happen behind the scenes, and you can totally say that the edit is making her look worse. I will give her that because it's a reality show. I'm sure even in the real world, they're all friends, whatever. Like, the edit is probably doing its job. But the thing about the edit, same with Fifi, is that the edit can't make you a villain. Like, they can make you more villainous or more like seem more negative to the audience, but they can only work with what they're given. You know what I'm saying? They didn't make you say all these things about the other girls. They didn't make you try to push Eureka down like this. They didn't make you do any of that. They can't make a villain. They can only enhance a villain. So all the girls, they say the Vixen because of all their different reasons, and then the Vixen like interprets that as like a personal attack. I think that it's fair to say that everyone would have a reaction to that. If you were on stage with all these people who you consider to be your sisters and, you know, all of them said, we want you to go home, I think the average person would be hurt. I think it's it makes sense to have a reaction, whether that's crying, whether that's running off stage, whether that's lashing out. I think it makes sense to have some type of reaction, even if it's just like a stank face. But when you use that reaction to bring someone else down, to me, that's not okay. And then the Untucked made me so, I was just going back and forth in my emotions because you get in the Untucked, you're mad at all the girls because you feel like they only, like they came after you as like a personal thing, when every girl is saying, no, we didn't come at you for personal. We were asked a question and we answered the question based off of what we have seen. I genuinely feel like the Vixen knew that she needed some other leg to stand on and then said, all the girls also feel this way, when that wasn't true, and then got even more mad when she was caught in that lie. Then she's arguing with the girls she won't let them speak, but she is trying to force them to let her speak. And then she's like, you know, when they start speaking to her and she doesn't like what they're saying, she goes, you know what, whatever, I'm gonna walk off, I'm done, which is the same thing that she got mad at Aquaria for. And then they're still talking because like you let them know the conversation, so they have the right to still be talking about this. And then you come back because you have more things to say, but then you come back and you still don't listen. And then you get a call from your mom. It gets you in your feelings. It gets you, you know, your fire. It gets you back. And the girls are like, you know, trying to be sympathetic, even after you literally just called them all fake bitches and that basically like you making it seem like they all hate you and whatever. And they're trying to still be sympathetic because they probably still understand that you're under a lot of pressure and you're probably hurt. And then you still make a little snarky ass comment when you're leaving. Like what are you after? What do you want? Like, and then you get on the stage. Monet basically handed you the lip sync. She ripped off her wig, which RuPaul has said time and time again, I don't like that, don't do that. So as soon as her wig came off, I knew that she was going home. Monique literally gave her that lip sync, but then you end the lip sync, and instead of being grateful that you're still here and that you're still fighting, you again take shots at all the girls saying, pay these bitches no mind, trying to use RuPaul in your frustration. Like, girl, I feel like in this video, it makes it seem like I'm against her, but I'm not against her. I really want her to succeed. But don't disrespect other people because you aren't completely confident in your things. Like, the judges literally were looking at her like, girl, like what? Like, why are you, like, you could just tell by RuPaul's face that he was just like, this is really messy, and blah, blah, blah. Even though I'm sure the question is meant to have messy answers, but I'm sure he was looking at her like, you just called Eureka unprofessional, but this is professional? Like, you answered my question with dubs on it, trying to make her seem, whatever. Thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out with me. I appreciate it, and I will definitely be seeing you guys in the next one.